Приехали в Unidentified Сейчас вообще высоко сел.
The Soviet Union, once a formidable global power in the 20th century, remains shrouded in mystery, especially regarding its encounters with unidentified flying objects. Despite being the largest country in the world, the Soviet regime kept much hidden from its citizens, including any information about possible extraterrestrial encounters. The secrecy extended to communist China as well. These encounters weren't merely peculiar incidents, they potentially held grave consequences for humanity as a whole. In this video, you'll take a look into 50 years of disturbing Soviet encounters with unidentified flying objects. Recently, efforts have been made globally to unveil long-concealed documents that chronicle every UFO sighting, shedding light on what was once kept hidden from the public eye. We're poised to reveal the truth behind these classified records and expose what governments have long tried to suppress. Join us as we uncover the biggest secret on Earth, Dalnegorsk. In a remote mining town thousands of miles away from Moscow, a remarkable incident is about to unfold, sending ripples of astonishment through the UFO community. A dazzling fireball streaks across the sky, crashing into a nearby mountain, leaving onlookers stunned. Word of this extraordinary sighting spreads far beyond the town's borders, unveiling decades of previously concealed UFO encounters to the world. A phenomenon akin to the legendary Roswell incident. Curious crowds swiftly gather at the crash site, discovering a scorched crater 3 meters wide, surrounded by an assortment of small metallic beads. Government officials promptly arrive to collect samples of this enigmatic material, dispatching them to the nation's top scientific minds for analysis. What they uncover baffles even the most seasoned researchers. The peculiar beads defy all known scientific understanding. Rigorous examination by 3 Soviet academic centers and 11 research institutes reveals unprecedented properties. These objects possess atomic structures unlike anything seen before, impervious to radar detection, with elements seemingly vanishing and reappearing upon heating. Astonishingly, one piece reportedly vanishes entirely before eyewitnesses. Yet, the most astounding revelation lies in their anti-gravitational capabilities, leaving the Soviets with a startling conclusion. The crashed object is likely of extraterrestrial origin, crafted by beings of superior intelligence, a conclusion echoed in a declassified 1989 CIA report on Soviet UFOs. An intrepid American journalist, George Knapp, claims to have smuggled samples of the material back to the United States, drawing parallels to the infamous Roswell incident of 1947, a pivotal event that thrust UFOs and government secrecy into the public consciousness. In the wake of this revelation, the Soviets adopt a more transparent approach to UFO phenomena, forming their first official UFO study group in 1967, mirroring the growing global fascination with the mysteries of the cosmos and the potential existence of extraterrestrial life. leaders of the Soviet Union appeared on television urging people to share their experiences of seeing strange things in the sky or meeting beings from other worlds. Many responded, flooding the authorities with their stories. But then, just like the United States, the Soviet Union suddenly stopped investigating these reports, shutting down their research group without explanation. What did they find that made them halt their efforts so quickly? What were they keeping secret? Similarly to the American government's reaction to the Roswell incident, Soviet officials downplayed a significant event in Dalnegorsk. However, by the late 1980s, the Soviet Union was changing under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, allowing more openness in discussing topics like UFOs. Following the Dalnegorsk incident, rumors of decades of UFO sightings in the Soviet Union began to spread, some of which had deadly outcomes. One of the few well-documented cases that survived is the haunting tale of the Dyatlov Pass incident in the Ural Mountains. 9 experienced friends set out on a skiing trip but disappeared during a severe snowstorm. Search teams found their tent abandoned, belongings scattered, and bodies scattered around, with signs indicating they had fled in panic. Initially, it seemed they succumbed to hypothermia in a tragic accident, but months later, more bodies were found, revealing injuries that suggested a more sinister explanation, including skull fractures and radiation contamination. The official report, kept secret until the 1990s, raised more questions than answers, with crucial evidence missing. What drove 9 skiers to dash from their tent and dash naked into a fierce snowstorm? What caused the radiation on their clothes? And what caused the gruesome injuries, like the severed tongue? Many theories arise, from madness due to hypothermia to a possible attack by the local Mansi people. As the investigation unfolds, another group of skiers claims they saw strange glowing orbs in the sky during the incident. Despite this, Soviet authorities dismiss it as an accident, blaming no one. However, some UFO experts suggest a government cover-up of a deadly alien abduction. This incident sparks a truth embargo, as the Soviets withhold information about extraterrestrials for their own reasons. Why did they censor the Dyatlov Pass report? Why didn't they alert the nation about a potential UFO threat? What was the Kremlin hiding? The Dyatlov Pass incident occurs during a time of heightened secrecy as the Cold War begins between the Soviet Union and the United States. In the early 1950s, American B-52 bomber squadrons, armed with atomic weapons, fly towards the Soviet Union, only to be recalled at the last moment, highlighting the tension of the era. To address the danger, the Soviets are extending their radar stations to spot any trespassing into their extensive airspace. However, it doesn't take long for these stations to notice something unexpected alongside American bombers: unidentified flying objects. These UFO sightings become more frequent around the country's military bases. It's a concerning development that will escalate as the decade comes to a close. Soviet radar detects an unidentified flying object nearing a nuclear test site. Military personnel spot a saucer-shaped UFO hovering over the base. A fighter jet is dispatched to confront the mysterious object. However, the UFO swiftly maneuvers away from danger, returning to loom above the base. This tense standoff lasts for nearly a day before the UFO abruptly departs without explanation. The Sverdlovsk incident highlights the potential threat posed by UFOs occurring during a pivotal moment in history as rival superpowers venture into uncharted territories. The question arises: could extraterrestrial beings already be present? Ahead, the world's most powerful leaders unite against a looming alien menace. UFO sightings push the world to the edge of catastrophe. Like the US, the Soviet Union suppressed UFO reports for decades, with some containing sensitive information. In the 1960s, there were attempts by influential figures to lift the veil of secrecy surrounding UFOs, ultimately leading to unforeseen consequences. President John F. Kennedy's pledge to land a man on the moon, initially seen as a response to the Soviet Union's advancements in space exploration, is believed by many to have deeper motivations. Kennedy aimed to utilize the moon mission as a means to share information about UFOs, as it was known within U.S. national security circles since the 1950s that there were suspected alien bases on the moon. The president suspected the Soviets possessed their own classified alien files and speculated they were leveraging recovered UFO technology at their secretive base in Kapustin Yar. However, the CIA carefully guards the most confidential UFO data away from the president's eyes. President Kennedy grasps the gravity of the situation. The destiny of humanity rests upon delicate threads. Urgent steps are imperative to safeguard the moon from falling under hostile control, whether by human adversaries or extraterrestrial forces. Kennedy devises a strategy. He leverages the upcoming moon mission as leverage to compel the CIA into disclosing crucial UFO insights unbeknownst to him. Meanwhile, Khrushchev shares Kennedy's anxieties regarding potential alien interference, fostering an extraordinary display of trust between the two superpowers, unprecedented in history. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev and President Kennedy struck a remarkable deal. They'd collaborate on moon missions and share all UFO-related information. But their agreement was cut short. Kennedy's tragic assassination in Dallas, followed by Khrushchev's swift removal from office less than a year later, raises eyebrows. Was it mere chance? Or did their pact on UFO intel play a role in their downfall? Could there be a hidden force behind their demise? In the ensuing years, both superpowers become ensnared in perilous encounters with extraterrestrial interference. In the vast expanse of space, where mysteries abound, an intriguing tale unfolds. It begins in March of 1967, when an unidentified flying object materializes above the American nuclear weapons facility at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. What happens next is nothing short of extraordinary. The UFO somehow disables the warheads, marking the onset of a series of similar incidents where UFOs target nuclear facilities around the world. One such chilling event occurs on October 4, 1982, when witnesses spot peculiar lights dancing in the sky above a nearby nuclear missile base. The lights perform mesmerizing maneuvers before suddenly, the base's control panel springs to life, as recounted by Major M. Davidovich Kataman in later testimonies. Inexplicably, complex launch codes are entered, and the missiles stand poised for launch, threatening global catastrophe. For an agonizing 15 seconds, base personnel are left powerless as the world teeters on the edge of destruction. Then, just as abruptly as it began, the system shuts down and the lights vanish. This harrowing incident raises a profound question. Why would extraterrestrial beings meddle with humanity's deadliest arsenal? As we delve deeper into these perplexing events, the urgency to uncover the truth becomes undeniable. Reports from 1982 suggest that UFOs also interfered with a Soviet nuclear facility, further exacerbating tensions on a global scale. Yet, this is not an isolated occurrence. Dating back to 1967, instances of UFO intervention in nuclear affairs have left experts puzzled. The crucial inquiry remains: what motivates these otherworldly visitors to tamper with mankind's most formidable weapons?
All of them, UFOs single-handedly are the toughest ones to research. They have the most pushback. They have the most provable pieces of evidence of a cover-up. But it's a cover-up nonetheless, and it's one that's easily proven. You can see with their own documentation.
But recent sightings reveal something otherwise. Take a look at these videos, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on to watch more videos like this one.